Chapter 4, Naomi E. It wasn't cool of Dad to keep that secret. A secret with Valerie, secret from me, but it's not like I'm going to cry about it. When the crier finally catches her breath, she says, "How come Naomi gets a twin and I don't?" Which makes no sense at all. "We're not twins," I say in maybe not my nicest voice. "We just have the same name." I walk over to the couch where she's sprawled. "What's your name?" She sits up and wipes her nose with the back of her hand. Ew. "Brianna." "Didn't you ever meet another Brianna?" The other Naomi walks over to us like maybe I should back off her sister or something, even though I'm only trying to help. "Remember in your dance class," she asks, "Brianna T and Brianna W?" Brianna sits up straight on the couch and her feet stick straight out. It makes her look so little. I use a nicer voice. "See," I say, "you weren't twins, right?" "I'll say," the other Naomi says. "Those two had to get lots of reminders, remember?" Then they look at each other in this "we're sisters and you wouldn't understand" kind of way. "Naomi," Dad says way too loudly. "I mean, my Naomi. Why don't you show Naomi and Brianna what we brought?" Cookies! Before this day took a turn for the weird, Dad and I went to Morningstar. It's the best bakery in the world. Every time Dad and I walk in, Stefan or Shira or Bessie starts making his coffee and asks me, "Croissant or bagel today, Naomi?" And today, after breakfast, I got to pick out a pound of their amazing butter cookies with chocolate sprinkles, rainbow sprinkles, colored sugars, chocolate chips, and royal icing. I take the box, tied with that cool bakery string, to Brianna, because Dad is practically pointing at her with his head. The box doesn't look as nice as it did when we left Morningstar. There are some greasy stains, which just shows you how buttery and perfect those cookies are if you take a second to think about it. "Is this cupcakes?" she asks, sort of grabbing the box away from me. "No, really great cookies," I say, looking to the other Naomi, hoping she can help. "I love cookies," she says, "almost every kind." "Me too." Maybe this Naomi and I can escape the little sister. This is all weird enough without having to worry about hurting someone's feelings just by having a name. "Except," she says, and then at the same time we say, "peanut butter." Dad and Valerie laugh way too loud. "But wait a minute," the other Naomi says, her eyes on the box of cookies. Then she looks at her mom and stops. Valerie gently shakes her head. "But what?" I ask. "Nothing. Did you ever meet another Naomi before?" she asks me. "One time," I say, "at my cousin's bat mitzvah. She was a great dancer." That makes Brianna jump up and start dancing. Naomi looks ready to join her, but she glances at me and then at her mom and asks, "Can we eat now?" Then it's all sorts of time for lunch action as Valerie asks her daughters to help, leaving me with Dad standing near the table, already set for 5, not knowing what to do. Would it feel less weird if they were at our house for lunch? Because here they know everything and I don't even know where to sit or where the bathroom is. But then, if we did have them over for lunch, there'd be a good chance Dad would completely forget to give them any food, and then that baby might cry even more. Valerie, Brianna, and the other Naomi bring out an amazing feast. Enough food for 15 people, I bet. Really cheesy mac and cheese, big soft rolls, colorful salads, rice and peas, chicken. I wonder if maybe they only have meals once a day like Dad and I sometimes do, though with us it's usually by accident. I serve myself plenty of everything because it all looks so delicious and beautiful too on my big yellow plate. We're all busy eating when Dad reaches for a second roll and asks, "How's that new program at the library going, Naomi?" I try to remember what program at the library, and it's quiet while everyone waits for me to answer. Finally, Valerie says, "Naomi Marie, he's talking to you." The Naomi that's her daughter asks, "How do you know about that?" She looks down at her food. How is anyone supposed to know who they're talking about, or to? But also, why does Dad know about some program Valerie's kids doing at the library? He can't even remember which days I have gym. The Naomi he was talking to, The one who isn't me shrugs. We eat in quiet for a little while. Then Valerie says, I hear you like playing checkers, Naomi, which I think she said to me. What is she even talking about? Did Dad tell her how I beat his friend Luffy 3 times in a row? Who even cares? I mean, if someone is going to know one thing about me, it shouldn't have anything to do with checkers. It could be that my mom is working on a cool movie and I can't wait to visit her and maybe even go on the set. Or that I read Charlotte's Web 4 times last summer. Or that Annie and I once wrote a play called You're Too Tall and We Don't Understand, and we sold tickets and performed it in her backyard. Checkers is something like 832nd on the list of important things about me. Yeah, I say, and then I get real serious about eating, because I can't be expected to talk when I'm eating. Can I be excused? Brianna asks, and I want to say, it's excused. And would you believe that's exactly what the other Naomi says? Well, I suppose you could, Valerie says, but then you'd miss those delicious cookies Tom and Naomi brought. So why don't you help clear the dishes? I stand to clear my plate when Brianna says, Why did you say cookies? What about the coconut cake? We'll be having the wonderful cookies that Tom and Naomi were thoughtful enough to bring. Valerie's teeth are clenched when she's talking, and I'm certain her eyes staring straight at Brianna could not possibly be open any wider. Could we have both? The other Naomi asks. Cookies and coconut cake? I don't like coconut cake, so I don't really see what the big deal is. Dad says, Valerie, if you made something special, then by all means, please serve it. Save the cookies for another day. But Dad doesn't let me finish. I've always wanted to try your coconut cake. I whisper, probably a little too loudly. I don't like coconut cake. The truth is, I've never even tasted it, but I don't usually like coconut anything, and I want those cookies, and if she isn't going to serve them, I want her to close that box right up and wrap the string around it again and hand it back to me so we can take it home. Everyone heard me. It's quiet for a little too long. Finally, Valerie says, Let's have both. It's a special occasion, having Naomi and Tom over for the first time. Told you it was a special occasion, Brianna says to her sister. You should have worn a dress, not the skating clothes with the hole. Hey, the other Naomi says to me in a really sweet voice, you should taste my mom's cake, just a tiny taste. Everyone loves it. So I kind of have to, and I guess it is pretty good. But I can't make myself eat more than that one bite. That doesn't keep me from eating cookies. 7 of them. When we leave, Valerie puts all the extra cookies and one big piece of coconut cake into the Morningstar box to take home. Knowing Dad, that will be our lunch tomorrow. Mmm.